Alrighty. In this video, we're gonna get into a low squat because a low squat position is incredibly good for your ankles, your knees, your hips, your lower back, core strength, your overall well-being. But it can be a really challenging position to get into. And sometimes it's not your hips, it's not your knees, it's your ankles that are tight. So I'm gonna give you a little stretch to do before we get into the low squat that can help. So come onto all fours and then step your right foot forward, and we're just gonna get that left leg out of the way, just to the point where you're not supporting any weight on it. So just kind of get it out of the way. We're gonna crouch all of our weight over on that right foot. So I'm putting all my weight on top of this right leg, and you're gonna get to a place where that right heel is gonna pop up off the floor, and when you get there, put it back down and just kind of sink back into that stretch. Now you're gonna feel that deep flexion across the front of your ankle, and you're gonna feel a big stretch going up the back. And what we're hitting is the soleus, which is one of your calf muscles. So you've got these big guys here. That's your gastroc, this little pork chop. And then the soleus runs up underneath and behind. And that's a muscle that can get really tight. It's kind of tough to stretch, but this stretch totally hits it. So that's one side. And let's get over to the other side. So left side, just tuck that foot under, right knee out of the way. Don't put any weight on your right leg. Put it all over on that left leg. Getting to the place where that left heel wants to pop up off the floor, and then just sink back into it a little bit. Put all that weight down. Feel that stretch. You can also, if you want to, just go side to side, ever so slightly, just as if you're pointing your knee over your big toe and then over your little toe. Just a little side to side, and you can feel that stretch move a little bit. This, incidentally, is also a really great stretch to do before you get into warrior one. If you think about that warrior lunge, your back foot is at an angle that creates this same kind of deep stretch. So this can be a really good one to kind of warm up for that too. All right, cool. So now we've got that all stretched out. Now we're gonna get into our low squat. So feet are gonna be a little wider than your hip distance, almost about shoulder width. And then just sit back. Now, this, for most Westerners, is a very challenging position. You're gonna feel this in the tension up the front of your leg. You're gonna feel this in your knees, you're gonna feel it in your hips, you're gonna feel it in your back. So get down as deeply as you feel like you can go. Now, if you're at a place where you don't feel like you can put your heels down yet, that's okay, no worries. Just take your mat and you're gonna fold it up, roll it up, create a little platform for your heels. And that just lifts them up just a tiny bit, just enough to make this a little bit easier to get into. Weightlifters do it all the time. They do lifting shoes that give them just a little platform on their heels. So you're good to go. But that ankle stretch or that calf stretch that we did just before will help make this less and less necessary. So I'm going to sit down in this nice low squat. So my toes are pointed out. My knees are pointed in the same direction as my toes. Now, a couple things that you'll notice is you may be kind of round. And so I want you to really focus on lifting through your chest. You'll get there. Just keep working in that direction. And something to watch out for, another really common thing is the ankles kind of collapse inward. So if you notice that happening, open your feet out and think of putting your weight on that outside edge of your feet so that you're not collapsing into your feet. You're kind of rolling towards the outside. Now, if you want a little extra, you can bring your elbows between your knees and get your hands into a prayer pose, and that kind of pushes those knees out. But watch out for that, because another thing that can happen is as you do that, you end up kind of rounding. So as much as you can, you want to keep this really tall upper back. Eventually, heels are going to be on the floor. You're going to be sitting down in this nice low position. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. So this is getting all of this ankles, knees, hips into this nice, deeply flexed position. And then just take a little break. Shake it out a bit. Because here's what we're going to do next. We're going to take that nice, deep position and we're going to move it around. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to move around this low squat. The first one, which I think is super fun, is called ape walk. So we're going to start at the end of the mat because as the name suggests, we're going to walk. So we're getting into this nice low squat. Now this one makes it a little easier. You're going to make fists. You're going to shift your weight forward and put a little bit of that weight down on your hands. So you can see my heels came up off the floor. That's okay. So we're going to use our hands for a little bit of extra balance. And then we're going to walk. Walk to the end of your mat, turn around, and walk back. Or if you have more space than I have on the screen on my phone, you just walk across a room like this. Now, when you first start out, you may find that you're kind of up here a little bit. That's okay, that's fine. You may find that the steps you're taking are really teeny tiny. That's fine. Start where you start and just keep working at it. Think of rolling a little side to side into your hips. That makes it a little bit easier. But you're going to feel this. Your hip flexors are working. Your abs are working. You're going to feel this in through your feet and your ankles, of course. So we have taken that deeply flexed position in your ankles, your knees, and your hips, and we're moving around it. So this is another one of those moves. I've actually borrowed this from gymnastic strength training. And it's another one of those moves that is all about mobility. 100%. This is what's going to keep you moving as easily and as strongly as possible. So we're